name is Kim Grady. My name is Kim Grady, and I am the personal trainer as well as the health and well-being coordinator for Borislow Insurance. And I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining our Mind What You Eat webinar. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to dive into the nuances of mindful eating. And my hope is at the end of our time together, you will have a better understanding of what mindful eating is and the benefits it provides and ways to implement mindful eating into your everyday life. Before we get started, I do want to go through, as you know, Borislow Insurance is committed to making sure that you and your employees are healthy and well. And we're here as you enter the new year, if you can believe it, 2022 is around the corner. So as you're planning your health and well-being initiatives for next year, please know we're here to help you with cultural audits and strategic planning. We're here with alternative wellness solutions, live webinars and on-site classes, health fairs and on-site demonstrations, along with coaching and behavior modification solutions. So please keep us in mind. We're here to help you and assist you in any way we can. Before I even get there, I want to make sure you all in our notes when you we're going to join the webinar, we asked you to bring some piece of food with you. The activity we're going to do at the end of the presentation says it's a raisin. So if I happen to use raisin, please ignore. But whatever piece of food you have available, I have a piece of chocolate. If you have a nut, anything that you can put in your hands would be awesome to get the full effect of the activity or the what would you call the activity we're going to do at the end of the presentation. Mindfulness. There is that word again. How often do we hear this? So often. And I think it's become such an everyday word, which isn't such a bad thing, but I also think it's great for us to remind ourselves of what does mindfulness really mean? So the Webster Dictionary defines mindfulness as the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment-to-moment basis. The key here for me, at least I'm speaking for myself, is the non-judgmental state. So we are in a state of not judging our thoughts, our how we feel. We're not judging anything that's going on. And we are completely aware of our thoughts, not judging them, we're aware. And we're in the moment. So how does that apply to eating? Well, I'm going to tell you. So on our agenda today, we're going to talk about what mindful eating is. Why would you do it? Like, what's the benefit of it? How do you do it? Like, it all sounds great, Kim, but man, that sounds hard. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to give it a try. So have your chocolate, your piece of food, whatever you have nearby. And I'm going to go through a demonstration of how to eat mindfully. So I said we're going to discuss what is mindful eating. And I read a quote the other day that I thought just emulates in a nutshell what mindful eating is. It is eating with intention while paying attention. I'm going to say that again. Eating with intention while paying attention. So how do we do that? Well, no distractions. That's a tough one. I don't know about you, but I eat many meals, or not many, but breakfast and lunch by myself. And the thought of just sitting there without my phone or just sitting there is a little difficult. But that's the idea, to not eat to not have distractions. So to be present, put that phone away, put the TV away, to eat in the present moment. Eating slowly, definitely a tough one for me. We're told to do that anyway. It's supposed to be better for our health, right? Helps us with our stomach and be able to digest our food better. But eating slowly. And one thing I've read is to take 30 chews between each bite. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe I could get to 15, but it's a start. So eating slowly and or putting your fork down between each bite. Listening to your body. Are you hungry because your stomach's growling like mine is right now? Or are you hungry because you're thinking above the neck? It's emotional. You're trying to avoid something or you're upset. So really pausing and listening to your body. Paying attention to your thoughts. Am I eating because I'm frustrated? I'm bored? What are the reasons I'm eating? Engaging your senses, smell that food, taste it in your mouth, engage in it. Think about where it's coming from. Eating to maintain an overall health and well-being. So eating because it's healthy for you and you want to feel good after you're done eating. That is the goal. And that is the purpose of the mind, one of the purposes of mindfully eating. And aware of how you feel. How does this food make me feel? Am I feeling good about eating that? Does it make me feel good? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Just because one food is good for some isn't good for others. I'm going to tell you right now, onions are not my friend. So maybe they're good for you, but once I eat them, I don't feel good. So I am aware of how they make me feel. Appreciating your food, thinking about the process that the food went to get to your table, and being grateful for the fact that you have a choice on what you can put on your table each and every day. That is what mindful eating is in a nutshell. When are you mindlessly eating? Oh, let me count the ways. And this is appropriate, right? Coming up on Thanksgiving. Consistently eating until you are overly full or sick. Oh my gosh. We all do that. I shouldn't speak for everyone. I do that. Eating food without really tasting it. Like all of a sudden at the end of the meal going, geez, did I really like that? Did I even taste it? Eating without distractions in the car, on the phone while you're working. How many times do we do that? Rushing through your meals. Again, that is not only on the mindfulness area of being mindful when you eat, but just for overall health, to not rush through those meals. And again, going back, having trouble remembering what you ate. So I'm going to throw up a poll right now and ask you a question. And I'd like you all to answer it honestly. Crystal, there we go. Awesome. Awareness. Have you finished eating? And how many of you have ever finished eating and realized you didn't even taste your food? Didn't taste it, have no idea what you ate, can't even remember, went on to the next thing. So let's launch that poll and let's see how many people are answering. And we can stop that poll. Get your votes in. And wow, that's awesome. That's great. Only 44% of you have ever had that happen. That's awesome. I mean, have not had that happen. That's awesome. I've had it happen where I finished eating and realized I didn't taste my food. So over half of us have had that happen, and it's a real thing. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just something to be aware of, right? So why eat mindfully? Like, what's the reason for doing that? Well, eating has become such a mindless act. Eating too much before your body understands it's full. Being mindful restores your attention to slow down and make eating an intentional act instead of automatic. You realize it takes 20 minutes for your brain, for your second brain, your stomach, to get to your first brain, your brain in your head, to tell you that it's full. So eating mindfully and slowing down is going to get that message to your brain after 20 minutes. I don't know about you, but I eat faster than 20 minutes. So my goal is often to take 10 minutes, set a timer, take 10 minutes to eat my meal, not just eat it in 3. Another thing is to know if you're emotionally eating. When you eat mindfully, you can be aware of that. Are you above the neck? Paired it with upsetting emotions. You're on automatic pilot, or it's food specific. You're just like, oh, I see that food. I'm going to eat it because I have to eat it. It increases your awareness of triggers that may make you want to eat, even though you may not be hungry. So taking the time to be a little more mindful about what is going on inside your brain and body will help you realize, am I really hungry or am I triggered? And being mindful is going to give you the space to respond in a way that's true to you. Mindful eating also helps you to distinguish between emotional and physical hunger. It increases your awareness and gives you the freedom to respond how you want to choose. that makes sense for you at that place in time. Yes, diet is a 4-letter word. I believe that wholeheartedly. Diets tend to focus on rules of eating, what to eat, how much to eat, when not to eat this, not that. Diets are the outcome is of generally losing weight. Remember, chronic dieting has ups and downs of your weight, can put you at risk for high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, and also that darn scale can be a mood indicator. Based on what that stupid number says, can tell you whether you're a good person or a bad person, or whether you're going to have a good day or a bad day. And that is something that is not a healthy mindset. The goal with mindful eating is to become more fit and healthier, not necessarily thinner. We've lost our GPS when it comes to dieting because of all the rules and restrictions. Did you know the dieting industry profits off of repeat customers time and time again? The diet industry likes to tell us it's our fault that we need to be on a diet. It's our fault we need to lose weight, or it's our fault we don't like our bodies. And diets work against our bodies. Every body is different, and diets, one size does not fit all. That's why mindfulness can be so important in working what works for you and what's true for you. So I'm going to launch another poll and ask you, how many diets do you think the average person goes on in a year? Not in a month, in a year. We'll give you a few more seconds. Thank you, Crystal. Close that poll, please, when you see that some of the numbers are slowing down. For some reason, I can't see that on my end. Wow, 4. Okay, so 48% of the people say 2 and 48 say 4. So 48% of you are right. It's actually 2 diets a year, which I thought was high. But yes, the average person goes on 2 diets a year, meaning like a true program, whether that's not just in their head saying I'm going to go on a diet, but a true, whether that's Weight Watchers or any of the other weight loss programs that are around. So 2. And it's generally the same people that are going on the same diets in a year. So how to get off that roller coaster of being one of the two diets that you may try each and every year? Well, mindful eating, as we've mentioned, will wake up that internal GPS and get you off autopilot. And the chronic dieting can disrupt that internal GPS. So the idea with mindful eating is to think of it as a healthier and a happier lifestyle, and not a mindset of a diet, like I can fall off the wagon. And then when you do that, then the whole guilt and the shame and everything else comes along with it. So mindful eating is a lifestyle, and it's a habit. It'll wake up your hunger triggers, your fullness indicator to know when you're full. It'll allow you to taste that wonderful food again. It'll keep your cravings in check, and you'll pay attention to how your body feels when you're feeding it. So we're going to go into what is mindfulness versus dieting. In a simple word, here we go. Mindfulness works with our bodies. It's a practice of slowing down and staying in the moment without judgment. Remember, non-judgmental is the mindfulness. That's the Webster Dictionary says. Diet is judgment-based and promotes abstinence from certain foods or calorie reductions. Mindful eating is sustainable. You enjoy your food and barely enjoy your food. Diet is a means to an end. Off diet, you tend to eat mindlessly, plagued with guilt. When you're mindful, you're eating whole foods. Diets tend to have processed foods that read like a science project. I'm going to call my brother out on this because he's not on this, but he has done a program. And when I've been at his house and looked at these packaged meals, I don't understand. I can't even read a third of not even more than half of what the ingredients are. When you're mindfully eating, you're saying no to foods because you're not hungry and food doesn't look very tasty. When you're saying no on a diet, sorry, when you're saying no on a diet, it's because you're on autopilot and you're saying you can't have that. On a diet, you have not an idea what to eat or when to eat or what times to eat unless you're told. You can often feel tired and hungry, and not dieting, you feel out of control. And when you go back on your diet, it's an all or nothing mindset. With mindful eating, you're not falling off or on. You're just paying attention to what you're eating. So the next page, this is the acronym that I love, and I found half of it, and then I added the other part. So Susan Alberts is a woman that wrote a book called Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. And I love how she put the plate, because I don't know about you, but I've seen, I'm obviously in this world. You see the plate with your carbs, your proteins, your fats, and maybe a treat. I don't know, something like that. Well, this plate is divided into ways to look at those, at your food, at the food that's on your plate. Doesn't matter if it's protein, carbs, or fat. We're looking at the food. So you want to start small. The idea is to start with one meal. There's no wrong or right. You want to pay attention. So the first part is to be that non-judgmental again. Thinking about when you're sitting down, let's say you have a piece of chocolate on that plate. Well, don't look at it and think, the idea is not to look at it and think I should, no rigid rules, not I shouldn't have that chocolate. Ooh, can I eat that? No, you're putting on your plate what is speaking to you. Observe. How are you feeling? Like right now, my stomach is growling. I'm going to be honest. I'm not full. I'm actually very empty right now. So pay attention to that. And maybe it's not a good idea for me to wait this long to eat, because I need to pay attention to my hunger cues. Be in the moment. Turn off that TV, sit down. Oh my gosh, big culprit of standing at the counter, eating food. Oh, drives my family crazy. And I love that it does, but I've been there. I've stood at my counter and started eating something and then almost, oh my gosh, like no attention to what it was. Savor it. Put it in your mouth, feel it, touch it. I mean, when you put it in your mouth, before you put it in your mouth, if you have the opportunity to touch it, touch it. Roll it around. Is it sweet? Is it salty? Is it crunchy? You're tasting it. And most importantly, enjoy. Enjoy your food. That's what it's here for. So here we are. This is awesome. We're gonna start talking about how to use our senses. Grab your, whatever it is, piece of chocolate. If you've got it, grab your almond, your raisin if you have one, grand raisin. Maybe you have a piece of fruit. So before you put it in your hand, I'm going to do part of this with you. Some of it I can't, because if I put it in my mouth and you can't hear me. So I want you to place that article of food right in front of you. You're going to set it down. You're going to stop. You're going to look at it. You're not going to just throw it in your mouth. You're going to look at that piece of food and think, okay. Now imagine, really imagine yourself having been dropped off on this planet. You know nothing about where you are. You've never experienced anything from Earth. You have no judgment, fears, or expectations. It's all new. Take a few deep breaths and relax. Now look at that piece of food and pick it up. Feel it, hold it in the palm of your hand, feel its weight. Is it heavy? Is it light? Examine the surface. Is it rigid? Is it dull? Look at it like for the first time. I've never seen this strange object, or just take a look at it. Now smell it. Notice how you react. Do you go, ooh, or do you go, Now roll that piece of food, if it's roll it between your fingers. Listen to what sound it makes. Is it sticky? Is it smooth? What do you think about this piece of food? Do you like it? Or not? Just notice it. Now place that raisin, or piece of food between your lips. Just place it between the lips. Don't swallow. Don't put it in your mouth. Hold it there for a few minutes. What do you feel happening inside of you? Are you salivating? Can you smell it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it? Now roll it back into your mouth. Don't chew yet. Don't chew. Just roll it around. Is there a taste? Do you salivate? Do you want to just chomp down and swallow it? Don't do that yet. Okay, you may bite down just once, just once. What do you notice? How does it feel between your teeth? Feel crunchy, smooth? Slowly begin to chew, slowly. What does each bite bring? Does it continue to bring flavor? Or is it like a piece of gum that turns into cardboard? Now chew it completely until it's liquefied as that object can be. Now swallow. After swallowing, please close your eyes and take a few moments to notice, how does it feel going down your throat? Can you feel it landing into your stomach? Are you enjoying that piece of food more than you ever had before? I'd love to know in the chat, and Crystal Bovin is with us today. I meant to mention that, to answer any questions, or I'd love to hear in the chat how that felt, if you had an opportunity to do that. It's such a different way to look at our food, right? In our society of just rushing around and shoving things in and trying to get to the next thing. I'd love to know how you felt, or if that made anything more aware in your body about the food that you just ate. So is there an app to help? There's always an app to help, right? There's always an app. I put my phone outside just in case I got a call from one of my kids. So I don't have my app I don't have the phone with me, but I did download this app, and it's called Mindful Eating Coach 2. And it is awesome. I did it last night. It's free, and it doesn't come up with a bunch of ads yet. Like, I know sometimes those free mindfulness things can come up quite a bit. Let me see. It's interesting. I used a piece of popcorn. Oh my gosh, I love popcorn. Definitely brought more awareness. I find myself rushing through meals to get other things done. So agree with you. Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's funny. I don't think my body actually likes what I just had. Well, that's all good too, right? Now you know, like, you're not going to run out and eat that. I'm a textural eater. Some things can not linger, or it gets mushy. I get that. I'm very texture, hence why I don't eat eggplant. So that can be true. Texture, I get that, but maybe we don't eat it until it's liquefied because the mushy, I get that, but maybe we just make a few more bites. I love that feedback. That's awesome. So true. I feel you on all those, guys. So this app, check it out. I don't know. I downloaded an app recently, and it said it was free, but I swear to you, every 2 seconds it was sending me a thing to, pay for it. This one is not yet. And it really collects some data. It wants you to check in before you eat, after you eat, reflect on your day. You get a calendar that can show your progress. It collects data. There's lessons in it. Check it out. If you really want to try this mindful eating, I suggest you don't do it while you're eating. Maybe this is the one thing you could look at while you're eating, is looking at the app and making sure that you're aware, like before you eat, open that app, check in, how you feeling? Sitting down to eat. This is something my mother, mothers are wise, aren't they? She used to always set out a placemat. She would sit her food down. She would sit and eat for every breakfast, lunch, and dinner. To the point that when she would visit, my daughter would always say, "Oh, doughy," is what they called her. They'd say, "We don't use placemats at breakfast." My mother did. She knew what to do. So that's one suggestion too, making an event, but check in before you eat is half the battle here. And I appreciate everyone sharing their ideas, their thoughts. I do believe that I hope that this was helpful. You do know that this is recorded, and your employees may be able to watch this at any time. We'll be sending this out shortly. And if there's any suggestions, thoughts, questions, please send them our way. I will hang on for a few minutes here to answer any of them. And we're always here to ask and help you and your employees lead and live your happiest and healthy life.